It's the Tom and Mickey Show.
Everything is showbiz.
Lights, camera, action. Presenting
the marvelous Marilyn Maye.
When we decided that we were really going to dig in and do this podcast the right way, we knew that Marilyn Maye had to be the first guest. She is truly a force of nature, and seeing one of her performances, as we say in the episode, is life-affirming. She is the reason that we have met. She's the reason we're married. The whole journey of Tom and Mickey, 17 years together now.
And it's by no accident that her very first album was entitled Meet the Marvelous Marilyn Maye, because she truly is marvelous. She was Johnny Carson's favorite singer and performed on The Tonight Show 76 times, more than any other singer in history.
So without further ado, here's Johnny.
Here's a gal that's been with us many times. It's Marilyn Maye. Marilyn Maye. Miss Marilyn Maye. I wanted to bring Marilyn back and do another number because she was super tonight. Miss Marilyn Maye first appeared on The Tonight Show in 1968. This is her 59th, this is her 70th appearance. 770 on The Tonight Show. 74 times on the show. I think that's a record for a singer. She gets better and better. And I think it's appropriate that I say that she's a super singer, first of all. Who can sing just about anything she sets her mind to. She's one of the best singers in the business. Would you welcome Marilyn Maye? Marilyn?
I've been so many places in my life and time. I've sung a lot of songs. I've made a lot of rhyme, but I sing for you. I sing for you. This one's for you wherever I go. Just to say the things I should have said, all the things that you should know. This one's for all the love we once knew. Like everything else that I have, well, this one's for you. This one's for you, wherever you are. To say that nothing's been the same since we've been apart. This one's to say that all I can do is just hope that you will hear me sing, because I sing for you. So listen to the melody, 'cause my love is in there hiding. I love you in a place where there's no space or time. I love you for my life. You were a friend of mine. And when my life is over, remember when we were together. We were alone, and I was singing my song for you. This one's for you, for you.
Well, I don't think it's fair for me to have a drink and you guys not.
Would you like something, Tom?
Yes, you'd need something. Fuck.
Don't pop your P's or your F's. French Martini. We're going to have all the right stuff. You've got to get rid of those or have
This
them
really
adjusted.
hurts. I know it. It's terrible. Oh dear, that really hurt.
You want to leave it off?
No. No, I'd rather
Well,
die.
I'd suffer.
Well, let's not have that. We all sound good. We look good.
And we look
We feel
darling.
good.
We're adorable.
We have a star of
Let me-
epic
let me get this
proportions.
together.
Fly away. Fix his hair.
Let me
How's
get
my
that.
hair?
His hair is fabulous.
I need some attention.
It's fabulous.
Okay.
Oh, you're turning gray, and I love it. Don't cut it.
All right.
I did.
We are rolling Marilyn Maye.
I know. No, don't roll her in.
Thank you.
I walked into my own 2 feet.
You've had quite a busy day. You were teaching.
I did.
And now
have wonderful people who, some people play golf, some people play bridge, some people want to sing, so they come to me and we decide what their main range is, and we do it in the right key, even though they say, I've always sung higher. Well, you can't anymore.
take it down.
So we put in the right range, and they do it, and they sing in the right key, and they are amazed at how good they sound. Yeah. And that's good for me.
Yeah.
I remember a
Master
time.
teacher.
Oh gosh, I think it was Lee Grant's New Year's Eve party so many years ago.
Man.
Do you know Lee Grant?
No.
Oh.
But I know who you mean.
Yeah, she's a magnificent human. And David Lewis was on piano.
Okay.
You know David?
Yes.
And I was starting to sing something, and he said, "That's not your key." I said, "It is tonight, because I don't have time to work this out."
Good.
But he was right. It was not my key. I was singing it in what,
Lower,
I don't know if it was
lower.
like a Dean Martin tune, but I was singing in some key that was not mine. And that came to me from being in school.
Did you feel that it was lower? That's why you hadn't sung at all?
No, because I was conditioned, because when I was in junior high school and high school, they had a lack of basses and baritones. So I was a bass at some point.
So that's
I should
very
never have been a
low.
bass.
Okay.
A lyric baritone maybe, but a tenor at best.
Why do you say you should never have been a bass if the music teacher thought you were okay in the bass
He
section?
just needed me there. I was
For your
a useful idiot.
looks or for your stature?
Just
or-
because I could hit a note.
Well. And it sounded good.
Good enough.
Well, because he would have put you somewhere else had he thought you were better somewhere else.
I think they had more of the other ones than they did of. It's not easy in a classroom selection to get the perfect mix of voices.
Right. Oh my, it must be. Well, I'd love to have a class of boys. That would be
Is it
fun.
mostly women? It's mostly women.
No. I have a lawyer. I have a man that's a lawyer. He's 71 years old, and he wants to sing. He just loves doing. And he started out not singing that well, thank goodness, because that's why I'm here, and to teach them to sing that well. And so I said, well, I want you to speak some of this. I'm going to turn you into Rex Harrison.
Wonderful.
Because that's a great technique too, you know. You can entertain beautifully to just deliver the lyric and mean the lyric. It's all about the words, you know that.
I've grown accustomed to her face. She almost makes the day begin. I've grown accustomed to the tune that she whistles night and noon. Her smiles, her frowns, her ups, her downs.
When
are
Lerner and
second
Lowe
nature to me
wrote
now.
My Fair Lady, and I will verify this information,
Right.
they wanted Noel Coward to play Rex Harrison. And he said, I don't do shows that aren't my own.
Right.
But Noel Coward had a wonderful quote. He said, I can't sing, but I know how to. And that makes all the difference.
Oh, isn't that interesting?
You like that quote?
Wonder what he meant.
I
I'd like to talk to him.
We'll have a seance. We'll
Right, yes,
summon
let's
him.
do that.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, we are fresh off of our latest Marilyn Maye experience.
Oh, my.
Just 2 nights ago, you blew the doors off of the Players, as we knew you
The
would.
Players Club, all the tradition that was there.
Spectacular.
Thank you.
Was that your
Thank
first
you.
time performing that room?
Thank
Probably
you.
not.
I did perform for a private party there, but this was
Your first full-on concert.
for all the members, you know.
It was spectacular.
Thank you.
It really was. It's
Thank
just,
you.
Seeing you is so life affirming.
Oh, honey, thank you.
You know, the
Thank
problems
you.
of the world go away when that door closes and the music starts and you
That's-
walk through that room.
That's what we're there for, you know, to
Take it.
make them feel happy.
Yeah. It was something else.
At least
A tour
for
de force.
an hour and a half or so, an hour and 10 minutes or 15 minutes to change their world for a while or introduce a new world to them.
Mm-hmm.
And the greatest compliment that I can get, and at times we receive it every now and then, when they say, I didn't feel good today. I haven't felt good for several days, and I almost didn't come because I thought, I just can't, get like however they got to the club. Mm-hmm. And they said, I'm so glad I feel so much better. And I said, well, that's my job.
That's your job.
That's what we're supposed to do, is make them happy.
There's a moment, we talked about this earlier today. It's always a rough start. It's a cold crowd. There's no warm-up act.
Well,
so
no.
you come out, you are the thing.
Yeah.
And
sometimes you have a warm-up act and it doesn't warm them up.
It does the opposite. It can do the opposite.
That's right.
But you went out there, and these people all had a day. They came from work. They came from whatever their lives were. It was a cold night. Everybody's coming in. They're sitting down. What I remember is, like a maestro, as you were inviting people into this world that you were creating, you conducted them. You brought them in.
Well, we opened with a thing called "The Song Is You." The song is you. It isn't the song is you a lover. It's you, the audience.
You, and
you. Yeah.
You literally brought them in with your hand, and they responded immediately.
Yeah,
you
were
gave
glad.
them permission to wake up from whatever clouds were in their head.
Thank
whatever
you. Thank
fillet
you.
of
That's
beef was
a lovely
in their
compliment.
tummy.
Thank you, honey. Thank you.
No, it was
Thank you.
every time we see you, and we've seen you so many times.
I know you've
times
come.
over the years.
You came to the Carnegie concert. That
yes,
was
we're
fun.
going to talk about that, and we're going to show you a little
good.
video clip
Oh, good.
that we don't think you've seen.
I haven't.
So that's a little surprise as we get a little further along. But the thing we have to say from the onset is that you are single-handedly the reason that we are a couple.
Oh, I know. I introduced you.
I mean, you were Ella's favorite singer.
I thought you were meant for him, and you were meant for him.
But of all of the things you've achieved in your life and career, Carson 76
God.
times. But you introduced Tom and Mickey. I wonder how many people are together because of you.
I don't know. But
we are putting out a search now. If anybody is a couple because of Marilyn Maye or any of her
Please phone the hotline.
studio albums,
Yes.
we want to hear from you, Tom and Mickey, on Instagram.
Ansonia Station, New York, New York.
Exactly. We're getting a group together. It's the Marilyn Maye
there's no
lovers.
fee. There's no fee for that. You can comfortably
Small
call
fee.
them.
A small fee, $4.99 a month. Or something. No, but it really is. You are.
Well, it must have worked.
Oh, it worked.
How many years?
That was. We could tell you exactly. It was January 28th, 2008.
Mm-hmm.
A cold night.
Cold night. Monday night.
But it was warm when you saw each other.
It was. But we were talking about, before we started rolling, we were talking about age and people's obsession with age and what that means. I think especially in the arts or sports, if you're an athlete, if you're a dancer, you're a singer, people put an expiration date on talent, right?
And
Whatever it is.
They put it in your ad even. I'm there, but I just don't understand what difference does it make.
Well, I'll tell you this, from an advertising perspective, our beloved mutual friend, all three of us, Mark, on that cold winter night, phoned me up and said, "You're not about to cancel, are you?" Because the weather was wicked.
Now, canceled
to come to it was the Nightlife Awards, and you were performing.
And he invited you to
He invited me to come, and he invited Tom to come with another friend. And I said, "Mark, it's just one of those Monday nights." He said,
"But had he not dated you?"
Well, when you say dated, I mean, I first met Mark in 1990, and I just recently pulled out the letter that I wrote to him because I needed to get to Mark Shaman to write charts for my first record.
Oh,
didn't happen.
I love Mark Shaman.
But I hired John Otto as a result of Mark. We didn't date, no.
Oh, I really thought you had. Well, then I did a good deed. I thought I maybe took you away from him to meet him. But I just thought you were perfect.
Or vice
together.
versa, because Mark apparently thought we were on a date. I was unaware of the fact, but that shrewd man that he is said,
hold that thought.
He's a lawyer, you know.
I know. I don't want to say
Really
anything.
lawyer.
I don't want to say anything that can incriminate
Maybe
me.
not thought you were on a date. Maybe he had just hoped that you were on a date.
Oh, that's nice.
We've seen you now. We did the calculation. It's 163 concerts since we've seen that.
Really? Oh my!
Give or take.
You just made that up.
Dozens.
You always
Definitely
make,
dozens.
You always make up stories.
That's not true.
Yes, you do.
Really?
But this one's true. You did. I introduced you both,
Yes.
and now you're still together after how many years?
17 years.
17
And we'll be
years.
married 9 years in March.
Oh gosh, how wonderful!
We waited for it to become
How
legal
wonderful!
in the
Yeah.
land, you know.
Yes, of course.
It was more fun from that night.
What?
When we left. So we met under the marquee. Mark introduced us. This is my friend Tom. This is my friend Mickey.
What is under the marquee?
On the marquee of the town hall.
I know it, but who cares?
Well, it mattered because I met this guy 3 minutes before we walked inside, and I was like, and
He liked me. I was dazzled by his eyes. He couldn't get over my hair.
And the marquee was going.
It just kept saying, Marilyn Maye, Marilyn Maye.
I'm going to fast forward this. We got past the awards. We went to the after party, and you said, let's go to Birdland to go to Cass Party. Now, so for anybody
Was that
who doesn't-
after that show?
It was after that show.
Uh-huh.
And you wanted to go specifically because you knew that Tony Bennett would be in the audience.
Oh gosh! Oh my gosh!
So we walked over there and our little group splintered off.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, Mark went home. He had to get up early.
Mm-hmm.
Our friend
As always.
Gary
Went home.
Went home. So it was the three of us. We walked over to Birdland.
Mm-hmm.
And as we were walking in, Jim Caruso, the MC,
Got me up to sing immediately.
brought you up to sing.
Uh-huh.
And as you're,
And the reason he brought me up immediately was because Tony was there.
and he introduced
And
you.
he thought that it would be fun for
Indeed.
Tony to hear me.
Yes.
And Tony walked out the door.
That's right.
But I don't think he really heard my introduction. I have to say.
I don't know if you remember what you did at that moment.
No, I don't. We don't talk.
We don't talk.
No,
we don't
we're not,
curse in my
no,
house.
we're not talking about that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. A lot of very famous people have been in my audience, and I'm grateful for that.
Yes.
And including you two. So that's all I care about.
I'm sure he meant nothing by it. They were just paying their check. It was timing.
It was,
a
well.
timing thing.
So
Exactly. But
where was your wedding?
Michael Feinstein's townhouse.
Oh my, how fun!
Yeah. So we had Marilyn out at the Jazz Loft in Stony Brook, a lovely little music venue out where we have our house, our weekend house.
It sounds so.
Real estatey.
Yeah, go on.
It sounds like a derogatory word.
No,
might
it's
be coming.
fine. It's fine. It's fine.
There are some people, that have 11 houses. We've only got this little shtetl here, and then the house on Long Island. I digress. So,
Braggadocio, ba-da-da-da.
the weekend cottage.
You can if you want to.
The compound.
And it's perfect
We made-
because it is fabulous. I was fabulous. And then there was the screening room.
The screening room.
Wow.
But so we had the after party of your gig is what I was getting at. The last night of the gig, everybody came back to the house. We
Yes.
stayed up till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Guess who
I
stayed
don't
up
remember
latest?
that. I don't remember
Last
that.
one to leave the party. But we watched.
If I'm having fun,
Of
you know.
course. Fun is the best thing to
That's
have.
right. That's
it's one of our
right.
rules.
Are you having
Arthur
any
Bach.
fun? Yeah.
Fun.
Uh-huh.
But we sat and we watched, if you remember, I'm sure you remember, the DVDs, the DVD of all the
Oh,
the
yeah.
Carson clips.
And you've got all of those. I don't even have those.
We've got them.
Yeah, you do.
We've got them. And it was so fascinating and so beautiful to sit there with you and watch that and hold your hand. And
Well, the memories are flood, when that's going on. And the odd thing is, I would do the show, and they started like I think 5 or 6:30 in the early evening, And so you're through, and then you go out to dinner with friends, and then you go back to the hotel, And then I would pile up in bed and get ready to watch the show. And I would sit there all piled up with my pillows and by myself so that I could really enjoy what happened. And invariably 10 times out of 10, I would fall asleep just before I came on. So maybe it was defense. I don't know. Maybe it was defense because I would absolutely, it's the truth. I would just sit there and all of a sudden I would fall asleep. And I mean, and that was the moment that I was going to come on. It's just weird because it happened over and over again. Isn't that funny?
That can happen to anybody who's been on this night show 76 times.
Oh, yeah, he was so good to me. He was so nice. I had the choice of either visiting with him and singing one song or singing two songs. And only 5 times did I sit on the panel. And because I thought, that's what I'm about. I'm about singing and delivering lyrics to the audience. He was special. He was so funny. You know, he knew what questions to ask of a comedian. Mm-hmm. You know, he would just, he was so kind to all the people on the panel. He would never override them or overtalk them or, you know, try to be funny himself because he was just literally always funny, but in a very loving, decent way. You know, he would honor the talent that he was interviewing.
And 76 times, it's mind-boggling. And that's more times than any
other
act.
singer. No, I think any singer.
Singer.
Yeah, okay. I think there are comedians that have done it more than that. But do you remember the very first time? Do you have any? No. Here in New York, I was with Shecky Green, appearing way out in
Long
New
Island.
York. Is it Long Island?
Long Island,
Westbury Music Fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, with Shecky. It was during that engagement, the next night or the first night, I don't know which, but I did the Carson show. So that was thrilling.
For the first time in New York. That gives me goose pimples.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it was fun. And then the band was always fabulous. You know, Skitch Henderson was the band leader in the beginning, and then Doc came on. And Doc and I did a lot of concerts together. Really? We did symphony concerts. He was the conductor in Phoenix. Okay. And he invited me 3 times to Phoenix to do the concert that he was giving the Phoenix audience with that good orchestra. And I remember I was doing a solo to the audience, and he was standing way back there, and he said, "Great jacket," to me, you know. And I said, "You want it, don't you?"
He was making an overture.
Well, because, you know, he wore those outrageous jackets, you know, and he just, from the wings, he said, and I could hear him, "Great jacket." And I said, "You want it, don't you?" "I know you do." We laughed about that afterward. He was precious. He was a precious man.
I know there was talk, and maybe you can't talk about it and we'll cut it, but what's the deal with being on Fallon's Tonight Show, continuing the tradition?
Oh, I will tell you exactly.
Okay.
Somebody called them several years ago and said, "You really should have Marilyn on the show." I got a call, and I said, when, what date? And I said, "Well, I'll tell my pianist." "Oh, no, you have to work with our musicians." And I said, "Really?" I said, "I usually bring my pianist."
Makes everyone's life easier.
And then, and so that was the one thing. And then I said, "So how many songs will I do?" Because on the Carson show, we did 2 songs. Although, fine, one would have been wonderful just to do the tradition of the Tonight Show, you know. So they said, "No, you'll do 1. And I don't know how it led into this. But she said, I said, "Well, I really want to bring my own accompanist. That would be, everybody would be happy with that. The other musicians and everybody would like that." And so we talked about it. She said, "Well, you see, what you'll be doing is Whatever Happened To." whatever happened to, it's a segment that we do called Whatever Happened to So-and-so, you know. She said, so you won't really be finishing what you're doing. And I said, oh, you know what?
Sound right.
I'm not interested in doing that at all.
I'd like to make a public service announcement to Jimmy Fallon now.
Yeah,
Jimmy,
right.
you're a smart guy. You're a member of the Players. We're members of the Players. Marilyn just played the Players, blew the roof off the place. We have a living legend who was on Carson 76 times. She'll show up. She'll sing a song, a whole song, and she'll woo the people watching.
Carnegie was
Carnegie Hall.
was a year ago.
Carnegie
Year ago.
Hall.
It was just
Perfect
a year
segue.
ago.
Perfect segue.
Carnegie Hall.
March 24th, 2023. That was... There's a lot of accolades coming out of us tonight, okay?
That was fun.
But that was thrilling.
It was thrilling
That
for
was
me
beyond
too.
thrilling.
It was thrilling for me too. We didn't know whether we did it with an 83 piece orchestra. I think it was 83, 80 musicians and my 3 guys, and Ted Firth and Tom Hubbard and Mark McLean.
Yeah.
It was so thrilling because we were sold out.
Completely sold out.
Yeah.
At least a dozen standing ovations from our, and we were in the maestro's box. We were in Stephen Reineke's private box,
Right.
with David Hyde Pierce and his husband Brian, who are huge fans.
You
of
name
yours.
dropper, you.
Oh, they love you. They love you so much.
I love David.
They were hooting and hollering, and
Oh, it was so much fun. And my precious Bob Mackie was
Bob
there.
Mackie was there, yeah.
Yes.
With Joe McFate, my dear buddies, and Warren Buffett was there, my friend.
Warren Buffett.
Flew in
Marilyn's-
just for the event.
Marilyn's
Yeah.
biggest fan.
Well, he's precious. He comes to see me. I do a club up in northern Iowa every summer. Well, it's not a club anymore. It's a theater. There was a club for 61 consecutive years in Lake Okoboja, Iowa. Beautiful, beautiful lake resort. And then that club is no more. And so then we went to a theater that's there. And he came the last 2 years. He's been there for my performance. He flies in with his own. He called before Carnegie. He said, "Now you have to come out of," because I always say out of the dressing room. You know, I'd come out and say hello to him after the concert. He said, "You have to hurry because I have to fly back to Omaha." He and his wife and his assistant, and I said, "Warren, you can't afford to stay in New York for one night."
I have an idea. Call him tomorrow and let him know we'll find him a nice apartment.
Yeah, right. That's right. Oh gosh,
He doesn't like to stay in New York, though.
I don't know. He must have had business in Omaha or something, because it was very special that he flew in
That's quite
for
a
the
thing.
concert. I was thrilled.
Plane waiting.
But all the people that I saw, people that I hadn't seen for years, came because it was Carnegie.
It was a
in
love
the
fest.
in the big room.
The big room.
The big room, and
A love fest.
from those who were there to see Judy Garland at Carnegie Hall,
Yes.
they said this is the only, and people who are habitués of Carnegie and New York City nightlife said they had not seen anything like your performance since Judy Garland.
Well, there was several reviewers that referred to that circumstance, that it was somewhat
That's
like
pretty decent
that.
company, I think.
Well, with the audience, because I do. Thank God, I do have. I love my audience. That's my love affair. The audience is my love affair.
Boy,
and it's a mutual love affair.
you're
Thank
some
you.
kind of lover.
Thank you. Well, I'm glad you two have a love affair still after how many years now?
17 years.
That's perfect.
Counting.
I'm glad. So have I introduced you lately? Button.
She's showbiz.
We have something else that you don't know about, and it's very official. You can tell when it's embossed. This comes from City Hall and the office of the mayor, and I'd like to read just a little of this to you.
My God.
Does that look familiar?
Oh my God.
Right? Hang on.
Large proclamation. It really is lovely. I won't read the whole thing, but I'll read just a bit. Whereas I take immense pride in leading a city renowned as a global capital of culture and innovation that has inspired creative people of all backgrounds, shining bright among them is Marilyn Maye. nonagenarian who has enriched our artistic landscape for more than 60 years. Tonight, the New York Pops, the largest independent pops orchestra in the United States, is presenting the marvelous Marilyn Maye, her solo debut at Carnegie Hall, and part of the esteemed venue's Women in Music series. As she takes the stage tonight wearing her signature sparkly jewelry and sequined attire.
Bobby made that for me just for that concert.
I remember that.
Yeah, and I had to fly out. I flew out twice for fittings from here to Palm Springs to have fittings for it. I flew out for the first fitting, and they thought that would be enough. And then I got a call from Joe, and he said, "You're going to have to fly back out."
When Bob Mackie calls you to fly out for a fitting,
that's right.
You do.
Did Warren send the plane?
I join with everyone at Carnegie Hall in applauding this outstanding artist for her invaluable contributions to the history of music. Together, we wish her a very happy upcoming 95th birthday on April 10th and continued success. Now, therefore, I, Eric Adams, Mayor of the City of New York, do hereby proclaim Friday, March 24th, 2023 in the City of New York as Marilyn Maye Day.
That night, I just want to spend the next few minutes on Carnegie Hall, because Marilyn, the first time that I ever went to Carnegie Hall, I was a 14-year-old kid.
Oh.
And I demanded that my mom and dad take me and my brother to see Frank Sinatra.
Of course.
June of '84.
Of course.
And it blew my doors off. I idolized Sinatra early on. When you're looking at other singers, who do you...
Oh, God.
Is that a question you can even answer?
Yeah, no, I can't. For so many reasons, there's so many styles and so many different techniques and ranges and bodily, what they do with their presentation bodily. That I'm hard on it. I'm not easy.
You're a tough critic.
Yeah, maybe so. Yeah, I'm not very nice about it. Maybe. And I mean to be, because I know how hard it is. But that's the point. It is difficult. And that is the point, that it's hard for all of us. But it's also fun for all of us. So that makes life happy. Because there's so much negative in our life, and especially these days. So thank God we have this great American songbook that we can latch onto and pass on to the audience. And isn't it wonderful when they enjoy it?
Thank God, indeed. Mr. Sinatra had a famous line. I talk about Frank a lot. I'm obsessed
with him.
He's famous for saying in the 60s, I think, to Cronkite, right? And it was a Cronkite interview.
I think it was, yeah.
I'm for whatever gets you through the night, be it prayer, tranquilizers, or a bottle of Jack Daniels. Amen.
He didn't mention music at all, did he?
What gets you through the night?
Oh, wow.
What gets you through the night?
Television. It's right there, and when I'm in bed, I'm really glad about that.
Ever since the Carson days.
That's right.
Fall asleep on your pillow.
That's right. And it keeps playing on and on and on. Oh, it's terrible if it goes off. That's my friend. That's my friend in the room. Now I'm tormented with what am I going to do next April? This was coming up soon. I don't know what I'm going to sing. And everybody said, just sing what you always do. And I said, no, they want to hear something new.
Well,
I don't know.
Mix it up a little bit. But the way the architecture of your show, it starts here. And it builds the layers of it.
We like to. There is a technique to that.
Of course.
There is a.
Nobody
There is a story about that.
We know. I wonder if the average person would really understand that.
I don't think they even know what's happening to them.
They don't know.
Well,
they're blown away by it by the time they're leaving.
There's such. I have great philosophy about all that. You know, about the opening and when you go into depth and when you go into sadness and when you go into preaching about beliefs of life and love. And the ending is always philosophical. You know, you have to do what you believe and what you hope people will find a message that they can take home.
To fulfill the need to be who I am in this world is all I ask. I can pretend to be something that I'm not, and I won't wear a mask. Oh, I can survive in someone else's shadow. I need my very own little spot to stand. So if you're sure it's love, please be sure it's love for me and only me, because I am what I am. I have the need to be. So if you're sure it's love, please be sure it's love for me and only me. I am what I am. Yes. And I have the need to be.
That's beautiful. Thank you, Marilyn. That's the way to sing songs like that.